Hello guys, and welcome to Mattsbeamer. Today I'm going to show you how to change the valve cover on a BMW with a N13 engine. It also includes the PCV valves inside. The first thing you need to do is to remove this cover just here, as shown. Pull it up gently on all 4 points. There you go. So, when removing this engine cover, make sure you pull this off here, and there's also another one just here on the back side. I should pull it off just like this. There you go. Make sure you don't lose this pipe anywhere, okay? I'm going to tuck it just in here, and hopefully it keeps it in a nice place for me. Just so you can see it clearly, the pipes that I just took off go there and there, okay? So the next step is to loosen these 3 10mm plastic bolts, quarter of a turn, so 90 degrees anti-clockwise, okay? And that will help you, so I'm trying to use the camera at the same time, remove this cover here. Also, what you need to do is pull this clip here, or push this clip in like this, and lift it up, and that whole cover lifts out, okay? Voila. The same needs to be done for this side. This one here, and this one here. Quarter of a turn, and so it's hard to do it with one hand. Okay, and that one there has been done, and push this clip in like this, pull it out. Voila. The next thing you need to do is to lever these 2 caps out with a screwdriver. Be careful, because it's quite it can ping out in your face. There you go. Bit of a nightmare, to be honest. And this one here, there you go, that's a bit easier. The next step is to take out those 2 E18 bolts, okay? So, that's one end of the stabilizer bar disconnected, or loosened shall I say, and now I need to do this one just here, which is on this bar here, okay? Let's have a go. And you need to do the same with this bolt just here. Next thing to do is to remove the top stabilizer bar. As shown. There you go. The next thing you need to do is remove this The next thing you need to do is to remove this plastic expanding rivet just here. What I use is a pair of pliers like this. Gently grab it and then pull, okay? So with the rivet loosened, just move this plastic part here and tuck it down here to keep it safe and sound, okay? Because the main idea is to remove this part just there, okay? Now remove this rubber soundproof stuff just here by pulling it like this. But be careful not to rip it. There you go. Easy peasy. Behind that sound deadening, we have a plastic cover which goes from here all the way to just here. Okay, so what we need to do is release 6 10mm bolts, which is one there, the one just there, one there, my back. Another one just there, and the final one just here. Once you've removed those bolts, you can remove this plastic cover just here. There you are. Remove the coil packs. So first of all, lift this up just here, and that will loosen this plug just here, as so, as shown. Then do the same to the other 3. So the next step is to remove the actual coil packs themselves. What you can do is pull it up like this and give it a wiggle and pull them out, or if they're a bit stuck like mine, you can use a screwdriver to help you. Just put it in like that, and there you go, as shown. Then what you need to do is basically move these and keep them out of the way, okay? So it makes it easier to remove the actual valve cover. That one there, and that one goes over there. Okay, so hopefully you will see that I removed this pipe here from that bracket just there by lifting it over like so, like that. And I detached, sorry, one second. And I detached this white plug here, this white clip here, from this part here. So my next step is to try and remove this white clip here off the valve cover. So maybe to try and pull it hard, or use a screwdriver and push it off. There you go. So for me it wasn't too bad. There you go. Next step is to remove this air pipe just here. It goes all the way to this. So what you need to do is quite fiddly, and I can't do it with one hand, is you've got to push down hard on this while using a screwdriver to kind of like help you lift it over these tabs just here. It's quite a silly design, because in theory you're supposed to squeeze it from both sides, from top and bottom, but there's no way you can do it unless you have super small, super thin fingers. But anyway, I've just loosened it before I filmed this video. So there you go, just like that. Voila. And on this side here, hopefully it's easier. So what you do is basically push there and down there. You push down on top and bottom like this, squeeze together and pull it off, okay? There you go. And it goes on that way with the shorter end connected to that. From here, I'm doing a voiceover to save my camera's battery life. So the next step is to remove both of the camshaft sensors. Please make sure you clean around the area first. After cleaning this area, you need to unplug the sensors. I used a small flat screwdriver to assist me here, as shown. After unplugging them, put the plugs somewhere to the side so they don't get damaged or in the way later. To remove the bolts holding in the sensors, you need to use an 8mm socket. You will need to wobble the sensor to help pull it out. Be careful though of getting dirt inside the holes. Now, unclip this pipe just here from the valve cover and move it out of the way. Next up is to make sure that there is room to remove the valve cover. It is quite a tight gap, so it's important to make as much room as possible. Before you remove the bolts which hold down the valve cover, you need to undo this little bolt here, which is where the earth strap is located for the ignition coils. You will need to use a 10mm socket to remove the bolt. Be careful though, as it is easy to drop it down in the gap. I used a magnet to help assist me. Removing this bolt allows you to disconnect the earth strap. Make sure you put the bolt somewhere safe and that you move the earth strap out of the way too. Next, release all 12 bolts for the valve covers. You need to release them in the following order using a 10mm socket, starting from bolt number 12, which is this one here. $11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and the last one just here, number 1. So when all the bolts have been released, make sure that none of them are going down slightly into the cylinder head. When they are all free from the cylinder head, you can remove the valve cover. The trick is to gradually lift it off so you keep it level to the head as possible. Also, pull the black tray which holds all the wires in place away from the area you're trying to clear, so the valve cover doesn't get stuck. Don't force it though, or you could break something underneath the valve cover. Also be prepared that the valve cover will be on the head quite tight, even when all the bolts are loose. Always be vigilant in what you do. With the old valve cover off, you can have a look inside the engine and check the condition. You can check things such as the timing chain, you can look for sludge and other general issues. If you're replacing the valve cover, like I am, you will get the items such as new bolts, new gaskets, and a new oil cap with it. If you decide to reuse the old valve cover, you will need to replace the rubber gaskets. When using a new valve cover, you will need to reuse or buy new metal sleeves. The old sleeves just pull out the old cover. When fitting new ones, you need to fit it by lining up the square cutout just here with a square tab. Then you need to push the sleeve down until it clicks into place. Make sure that you do it with all 4 sleeves. From underneath, it should look like this. Next, remove this little metal clip from the valve cover and fit it to the new one. Next, clean the contact surface where the new gasket will touch. So this will include around the edge and also around the spark plug holes. Some people spray brake cleaner onto the cloth for extra oomph. Now, add some sealing compound to the following areas and smear it as shown. Some people do all the surface area, but I decided to do the main contact areas.
When refitting the valve cover, be careful when lining it all up that this part here does not scratch the camshaft surface. The trick is to line up the valve cover with the holes and slowly drop it on directly to the engine. You may need to pull the area with all the wires out of the way from the engine to get some extra space. In fact, you will. You will also need to make sure that all the wires are kept away from the area when everything is in line. It will suddenly drop into place all of a sudden, which is a wonderful feeling as it can be very, very fiddly and take a lot of time. When it has fallen into place, it is time to tighten up the 12 bolts to 10 Newton meters in the order 1 to 12. So let's start at bolt number 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last one, number 12. Next up is to bolt the camshaft sensors down to 8 Newton meters, and remember to plug them in.
8 Newton meters.
Also, in the top left corner, you will see me connect the white clip to the valve cover, just here. Next up is to bolt the earth strap down for the coil packs. I had to lay the wiring out to the correct spark plug holes first, and then use a long magnet to help me put the nut onto the thread, as it is very, very, very easy to drop it down into the depth of the engine bay. When it was all lined up, I could bolt the earth strap down. Now, find this tube here and connect it into the clips as shown. It's quite fiddly. If you are using the old valve cover, be careful you don't snap or break the clips, as that's what I did in one of my videos many years ago. Now, please clip the wiring into their original places. Also, make sure you clip the white clip onto the metal area you put on earlier. Now, insert the coil packs into the engine, making sure that this pointy part here is aiming in the correct direction as shown. And when it's all plugged in, you can lock the plugs into place. It should be a nice smooth action and you shouldn't need to force it. Make sure that the wiring is clipped in place and does not wobble about, as if it comes loose, the car will misfire. Now, refit or replace the vent hose, depending on its condition. It connects the PCV valve system to the filtered air pipe. Make sure they fit nice and snug so there is no air leaks. Next, carefully inspect the condition of the partition, which is this part just here, and fit it into place so all the holes line up as shown. Make sure the pipes which are at the back of the engine are easily accessible. When it's all lined up, tighten the bolts down with a 10mm bolt. Then refit the rubber section as shown. It can be a bit of a pain to line up at first, but that might just be me. Both ends need to go under the rubber flaps. Sorry, I don't know what they're called, to be honest. And then you should be able to reconnect the little black plastic fastener, remembering to push the centre of it to lock it into place. Now let's refit the suspension cross brace to the body. Make sure you have new bolts here, as BMW says you must replace them. The two bolts closer to the front of the engine bay are known as 0714 727 0121. The two bolts closer to the windscreen are known as 3110 685 4219. Please double check the part numbers on the real OEM website in case I've said something wrong. Also, the bolts I bought from BMW had different size heads compared to the originals that I removed, but they were confirmed by my dealership that they were okay. With all the 4 holes lined up, insert the 4 bolts in their correct holes. I started doing them up by hand, making sure they did not cross thread. They all need to be tightened down to 56 Newton meters at first, followed by an extra 90-degree turn. With all 4 suspension strut bolts torqued down into place, refit the 2 rubber covers. Now you can refit the trim near the scuttle panel. The plastic bolts only need a slight turn to lock them into place. Next up is to fit the acoustic engine cover. First, reattach the 2 pipes to the acoustic cover, then line up the holes where it needs to connect and tap it down into place. So that's basically it. Basically start the car, listen to see if it sounds good, make sure there's no funny noises or uneven idling, all that kind of stuff. And also look for any oil coming out from the valve cover. That's basically it. Anyway, it's down to you if you decide to follow what I've done in this video. It's just the way that I personally done the job and it worked for me, okay? So if you don't feel confident about doing this job or you have slight doubt, please think hard if you want to take the risk. It's, as you probably know, it is much safer to take it to the garage. They're insured. If it goes wrong, they can do it and do whatever you need to be done.